Warm greetings from the high 10. It's Everyday Shenanigans. Hope you all had a safe weekend. Happy Labor Day to all of you. This information is pertaining to the kidnapping of Liza Fletcher, 34 years of age, Caucasian female out of Memphis, Tennessee. A suspect has been brought into the Memphis jail by the name of Cleotha Pookie Abston Henderson. Bond has been set at $500,000. He would need $50,000 to march his way out of a Memphis jail. Thank you for joining me. There are approximately 1,435 kidnappings each year. This number is an estimate, however, as not every case gets reported, especially as it pertains to family member abductions. How many years in jail for kidnapping? The jury recommend, this is just a random person, kidnapping, criminal mischief, a total of 11 years in prison. The remaining sentences will be served concurrently. The minimum sentence for kidnapping. The punishment for kidnapping under state law depends on the particular jurisdiction as well as the severity of the offense. In general, the minimum sentence for kidnapping that is non-aggravated is 3 years in prison. In some jurisdictions, the minimum is 5 years. What is considered kidnapping? Kidnapping, also spelled kidnapping, criminal offense consisting of the unlawful taking and carrying away of a person by force or fraud, or the unlawful seizure and detention of a person against his will. Is kidnapping a federal or state crime? Typically, kidnapping is charged at the state level because moving a person within one state is often involved. A defendant accused of kidnapping may be charged with federal crimes if they are alleged to have crossed state or international borders. When does kidnapping become a federal crime? The vast majority of kidnapping charges are prosecuted under state law, but there are some situations where kidnapping can be charged as a federal crime. Kidnapping can be charged as a federal crime when you receive ransom money or cross state lines. In this case, no ransom has been asked on behalf of a perpetrator suspect, because the suspect is now in custody, Cleotha Abston. 40 plus horrific, chilling kidnapping statistics. 600,000 people go missing every year. 4,400 unidentified bodies are found. That's not good. SafeAtLast.com if you need to get more statistics pertaining to missing people. 4,400 bodies in a year, uncovered, unidentified. That's a lot of people. And 600,000 people go missing. That's right under 1 million people. The average small city doesn't even have 600,000 persons as a population. Thank you for joining me. Now to the commentary. There's new information in the queue. It's posted to my community board. If you need verification, I will bring a source. There's new information pertaining to Cleotha. He's been a busy bee. And the information I'm going to bring you, I do not know if it's in relation to Liza Fletcher or another victim, but I will play the commentary for you. Thank you so much for joining me. One second. Thank you so much. Having an issue with loading everything up. If you need verification for any other information in this live, please go back to my previous live earlier today. That is an in-depth discussion and information pertaining to Cleotha Abston, better known as Pookie. You will learn his past, what he was charged with, the victim, and also a bio on the victim, Liza Fletcher. Thank you all so much for joining me. Was this kidnapping of Liza Fletcher planned, or was it random? Or is there something more sinister going on? Is there a connection to the law firm where the lawyer that was kidnapped in 2001 worked for? Because we now have information that Liza's uncle works for that law firm. Has this man been snooping around looking for retaliation against the said law firm where his first victim worked? Stay woke, everybody. Thank you for joining me. News Nation is my first source of information. Please listen to the information very carefully.
While at work, I had a severe foot injury.
Sorry about that. I swore I had that volume down. I guess I did not. Sorry about that. Gotta have those commercials.
Private investigator. Police have not been able to get much information out of the suspect, TJ, but do you think that with what was found in and around the vehicle, in addition to people who live in and around that neighborhood where she was last seen jogging, could investigators put this case together and put charges squarely on this suspect?
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Yes, I believe so. And this was a very, very quick investigation that I knew from the beginning was not random. This was a planned kidnapping, and right now we don't know who else is involved. But the witnesses that's gotten information and given it to the police was helpful, and the information from the DNA that they got from knowing what vehicle he was in. Now they can start pulling some other things together. He's not going to talk, so the whole thing now is trying to get cadaver dogs and trying to get the DNA and some information, and maybe others keeping this out in the public. Maybe others saw something that may help law enforcement find out where she had put him and where the body may be. Cadaver dogs, and so this is where we are right now, and keep interviewing other witnesses and family members and so on and so forth. I'm sure they have taken his computer and things from his home and are analyzing it right now in efforts to know that this is probably a plan. This was a planned abduction, and also to try to find out what else they can find that's going to lead to where her body may be.
And it is your belief, because you're saying some things that we hadn't heard so far, that she is definitely deceased.
I'm not saying she's definitely deceased. She's missing, but I'm sure at this point, this gentleman has got history of, and what we do know that she was injured or whatever when she was taken. We know that there apparently was blood or something in the car that has coming up, but you have to take and look at the worst in order to hopefully find out, because this guy's not going to give you any information of where he's put her or where she is or whatever. So we have to pull cadaver dogs in and hope we can locate some information and hopefully find her.
And you are basing the fact that this is not a random attack on the affidavit about the crime?
I think this was a planned. This was planned. This was not an abduction that was just happened at 4:30 in the morning. I think that he had planned who he was going to take, or what happened to her. I think he knew. Just as a matter of fact, that he just got out of jail from somebody else that he had victimized.
All right, TJ Ward, thank you so much for your insights. And again, we hope this family finds some answers very, very soon, and investigators get to the bottom of this. Thank you.
Prayers for the family.
Yes, absolutely.
what we can do.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
News Nation is the source. Let's chop up what was said. This TJ Ward is a private investigator, so this is his own personal opinion. No body has been claimed, found that is of Liza Fletcher. So therefore, this is this man's opinion. Why does he think that possibly she's dead? Possibly because of the timeline. We're now approaching day 4, so that's why. Let's chop up what he said in this commentary. 1 second, please. Make sure I get all my notes together. So many. Thank you so much. The eyewitnesses. Who are the eyewitnesses? Who are the people who have seen something, heard something pertaining to the abduction of Liza Fletcher? What has Cleo told anyone? What did they tell law enforcement that they saw or heard pertaining to this abduction? Once again, why does he think this was planned? Sloppily, because he lost his shoes during this abduction, running towards the victim after watching her at some point running. He parked the car in the road because it has been said in commentary that the car was in the road and he ran up on her. So did he run from behind or towards her? Because this lady was obviously not paying attention to her surroundings while running. To notice this black truck has circled her while on her run. As I said, it's not definitive that she's deceased, but that would be an assumption by many in the law enforcement and bystanders. He also says you have to look at the worst case scenario. The fact that Cleo has not given up any information to where she can be located. So what exactly did Cleo tell law enforcement when asked about the abduction seen on the surveillance camera? Dogs have been used in the search for Mrs. Fletcher. Did he answer with a yes, no, I waive what? Not waive my rights, but I need a lawyer. I don't have anything to say. What was his demeanor when they said we have you on surveillance as putting this Caucasian woman into an SUV? Did he smirk? Did he smile? Did he nod? What did he say? Obviously nothing, because they said he's not speaking. This man is assuming that this crime was planned, I guess, because of what happened back in 2001 with that lawyer. The difference with that crime is that the lawyer was, 1, a man, 2, allegedly robbery was the motive, and the man got away. But it is not to say that had the man been stupid enough to come back out that store and jump back in the damn trunk, maybe he would have died, been killed by Cleo and the gang. But at least the man had common sense not to come back out the store with the money. And the guys fled, Cleo and his friends, and they were apprehended. This case is different than the last charge. The last charge was a man, robbery, thrown in a trunk, joyride for 2 hours with some friends, took to an ATM in a store. The man doesn't come out. He lets the people know in the store he's being kidnapped, yah, yah, yah. This case is of a woman, stalking a woman, following a woman, either knowing that she ran on this route, watched her at some point, or just wanted to pick a woman on that day. She happened to be the woman, or it's something more sinister, such as there's something going on with this law firm and the last lawyer and her uncle, who was the one who spoke and gave information pertaining to somebody giving information to her whereabouts. Because now the uncle's name is coming up in commentary. Why this woman? Is this a planned abduction of her specifically? Or is this just a planned abduction of a woman on that Friday morning? See, there's a difference. So law enforcement is going to have to bring to the public any information they have that this was directly orchestrated for Mrs. Fletcher, not Susie Mae, Mary down the street, but Mrs. Fletcher? Or was this just random? He was out, bored, didn't have nothing better to do, and just decided, hey, I want to try to pick up me a gal for felonious deeds. Or had he been looking most of the morning for a victim? See, we were not going to know until the evidence and information comes in that she was the direct intended victim, not just random or he wanted someone on that Friday morning. What is the deal? Robbery versus a sex crime. Last kidnapping was a robbery of a lawyer thrown in a trunk. This time it's a sex crime, severe injury to the woman, and now she has not been located. What led to this escalation of 20 years being incarcerated to only be out less than 2 years and hunt down a woman? I'm trying to understand. Many people are going to keep bringing up the old kidnapping, but that situation was different. You're going to have to say she had something of value on her, and he wanted to make sure to not get caught this time. And that meant I've got to kill the victim, because I ain't going back in that penitentiary box for no damn crime. But he's back in there because he didn't plan it thoroughly. Whether you believe or they have evidence that this was orchestrated, planned out, thought out, talked about, she was the intended victim, it was sloppy. Because 1, he came out of his shoes. 2, he committed the crime under surveillance cameras. He probably stupidly had his phone on him, and it pinged somewhere where she's discarded bingo card. You all forgot about that, didn't you? That's the next set of information I'm going to bring to you, where they are currently searching for the victim. Has he tried this crime before since he's been released? He got out November 20th, if I'm not mistaken. So we're not even at November quite yet. So that means he's already committed a felonious crime, sexual assault, kidnapping, possible murder in less than 2 years of release from a penitentiary. Why? What happened in that prison cell for him to decide to get out, crying and moaning on Facebook, I want out, I want out, I want out. My mind is going this and that. And then you get out and still a whole human being. Assault, beat up a human being. And 9 times out of 10, he has killed her, sadly. This will probably be a recovery. Why? Why not try to walk the walk and do right? Why not? Why not do right? Change your life. You've lived your whole life incarcerated, but you decided that wasn't good enough. You had to come out and do what? Are you on drugs? Were you getting high? Were you smoking heroin, fentanyl? You needed a quick fix. You saw this white woman running down the street. You thought maybe she had a wallet or debit card on her. You also wanted to do a little hanky-panky along the way, and also make sure she wasn't going to be woke to testify what you've done to her. What is the truth behind this abduction? Who has been intimate with Cleotha? I'm just going to call him Cleo, shorten the name. We hear of a Gwendolyn Brown. The car is registered to her, the SUV, the address where he's staying. Her name is also attached to that address. How long have they been dating? Because he's only been out less than 2 years. So when did he meet Gwendolyn? How long have they been together? Does she have children there? I'm throwing it all in as I did at the last live. Has he been sleeping with other women? Has he been sexually assaulting other women? Has he attempted to rape any other women? And has he raped other women? They haven't came forward. Who's going to come forward to tell us about Mr. Abston? Has he strangled Gwendolyn before? and any other woman. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $McGangie, 129 Cash App. All stickers are welcome during this live. I will now play you commentary number 2. Thank you for joining me. This is a major update in this story. If you have not heard, it was uploaded 1 hour ago from News Nation. Suspect in Tennessee kidnapping convicted for similar crime. Thank you so much for your time. All right, everybody, here we go. Nothing wants to act right today.
It is day 4 of the massive search for Liza Fletcher. She's a mom, a teacher, and an heiress to a billion-dollar company. Police say Fletcher was violently abducted less than 5 miles from her home, which is near the University of Memphis. Meanwhile, the man suspected in her disappearance will be in court tomorrow. News Nation's Ryan Bass is live. So, Ryan, what do we know about this suspect?
We continue to learn more and more about him, Nicole. You know, and Liza's search, it did continue today. Police were looking in a wooded area of southern Memphis, desperately trying to find the mother of 2 and teacher there who has been missing, as you mentioned, for 4 days after she was violently abducted. But police do now have a suspect, and that suspect, that man, was actually in jail for 2 decades on a kidnapping charge. 38-year-old Cleotha Abston has been arrested and charged with especially aggravated kidnapping and tampering with evidence. He actually served 20 years of prison time after he was charged in November of 2001 in the robbery and carjacking of Memphis defense attorney Kemper Durand, ordering him to get into the back of a trunk of a car before he managed to escape. Now, Abston was sentenced to 24 years in prison, but was actually eligible for early release after serving 85% of his sentence and got out in November of 2020, according to court records. We spoke to a former FBI agent this morning on Morning in America who believes there's actually a connection between that kidnapping and Liza's.
There's this connection between the original subject of the first kidnapping of Mr. Abston and the second, because the uncle worked at the same law firm as the first subject or first victim. And this is no coincidence, I don't think law enforcement will find.
Jennifer told us that police will continue to sift through evidence looking for any type of idea or trying to figure out why, in fact, she was targeted. Now, Abston, he is due in court tomorrow, as you mentioned, Nicole. He is now facing also additional charges of identity theft, theft of property $1,000 or less, and fraudulent use of a debit card $1,000 or less. That is according to our sister station in Memphis. Right now, police are not confirming whether or not that is, in fact, related to Liza's disappearance. Nicole?
Yeah, we certainly hope Liza is found unharmed. Ryan, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
Have you all listened to what was said in this commentary, because it's pivotal to this investigation? The uncle of Liza works at the law firm where the first victim was working 20 years ago, who was kidnapped by Cleotha. Listen to what I'm saying. What are the odds? Memphis is a small city. Is this a coincidence that the uncle is affiliated with the law firm of the first victim? The first victim worked on cases of people who have been wrongly convicted. Please listen carefully. Is this personal? Are these lawyers from this law office at any point been affiliated with Cleotha Pookie Abston? Did he summons these people knowing he had kidnapped that man and tried to play possum to get help? Because there are people who solicit law firms such as the Innocence Project, knowing they have committed the crime, knowing the DNA is going to come back matching their DNA to the scene of the crime, but it's for show, it's for attention, just to have something to do while incarcerated. Something we've learned many people do while incarcerated. They waste people's time. Is there a connection between Liza, her uncle, and victim number one? Because as I said, many people are going to compare the two only because they are kidnapping in nature. But one victim was male and it was robbery. The second is a woman. And 9 times out of 10, for sexual deviances. And as not to leave a witness behind that can talk. What's the truth? What is the motivation behind kidnapping this lady? Is this a random crime, or opportunity? He just decided to get out that morning. Had he seen her before in the city, social media, in relations to the uncle, which is in relations to the law firm that the first victim worked for, knew that she was wealthy? What are we talking about? No ransom has been asked by anyone. And if so, it has not been revealed to the general public. Is this payback for some way back? Has he been harboring ill feelings inside of that penitentiary against anyone working at the law firm alongside this man? Could it just be that he found out this woman is related to the uncle who worked for the law firm of the first victim, and he just connected some dots and found out she likes to run? Because as I told you in my commentary earlier, you have to be careful with what you post on social media. People talk, and Memphis is small. And when you're posting to social media, you're putting everything up there about who you're related to, where you work, where you teach. And if somebody's out here holding a grudge, it won't take long for them to find out anything they need to know. If indeed this is personal. I don't know if this is personal or not. I can't say. But yes, when you do the deductions, it sounds very odd. Let's chop up the information that we've brought. Thank you so much, Lynette. Thank you all so much for joining. Let's go here. Random kidnapping, or she was a target, or he had planned to assault some lady. 3 variables. Had he been watching her? Did he know she came from money? Was it planned well because the shoes were left in the road at the scene of the crime? The sick part of this story, besides this woman missing and possibly deceased, is that Liza enjoyed true crime podcasts. And sadly, she became a victim last week. Was she wearing ear pods on that fateful morning, as not to hear Cleo running up on her? Did he approach her from behind or in front of her? How many times did he circle the street in looking for this victim, if indeed it wasn't her intentionally, but some lady? What are we saying? Has he attempted previously, before his arrest, to attack any woman, rape any woman? Are there victims out there of attempts or actual rapes? And will they come forward? Why now, after all these years being incarcerated, would he risk his freedom to assault this woman and kill this woman? Because we're going to lean on the fact that possibly she's no longer alive. 2 years, less than 2 years. His release date was November 2020. It is not even the middle of September yet. And he's forfeited his freedom. Why? Was she subdued inside of that vehicle the moment he threw her in and jumped into the driver's side? As I said earlier, why didn't she try to get out before he got into the driver's side of the car? Or did he have something in his hand while he was struggling with her? A knife, a gun, stun gun, pepper spray? Did he choke her while putting her in the car? We don't know. If not, she sat there, quiet, wailing, screaming. Why not try to wreck the car? What do you have to lose? A few bruises will be much better than sexually assaulted, tortured, killed, and dumped out like trash. But I am not Liza Fletcher, and I was not in her state of mind, and I wasn't present when she was confronted by Cleotha Pookie Abston. Did he punch her? I already have a weapon, as I said, so she couldn't get out of the car. Did he punch her inside of the car? If he used a weapon, what did he use? A knife, a gun? Did he shoot her on the spot inside of that vehicle? Cut her? What? Because you'll have to remember, he's sitting in an open road and anyone could pass by. And there is surveillance cameras. And this fool obviously didn't know that. So let's talk about the risk of running around the street driving, getting a partial tag. My understanding is a partial tag identification of the car, SUV. He didn't care. Is it possible he knew there were cameras? Is it possible he wanted to go back to penitentiary? He couldn't make it out here. We have heard of people who go to jail often will do misdemeanor crimes just so they can have a bed to sleep in. We're going to ask all those questions because we have to ask ourselves, what the hell was he thinking in attacking this lady and had only been out of prison less than 2 years? Where is the weapon, if indeed he used one? Where did he discard the weapon? Did he discard it with the victim or at that dumpster where his brother lived, or somewhere after leaving his brother's apartment? Was she silent in the car? What did he tell her? What did he say to her? Did he tell her he wouldn't hurt her? Or did he tell her, be quiet or I'll kill you? Did she comply or did she fight till the very end? Cleo left behind his shoes. Liza left behind a water bottle and a broken cell phone. What happened in that parking lot after abducting Liza Fletcher? They say by surveillance, they sat inside that car for 4 minutes. What was he doing to Liza Fletcher inside of that parking lot for 4 minutes? Did he beat her up, strangle her, hurt her, subdue her, or force himself on her? Because you have to admit, in an SUV, we're going to be very literal here in this live. It would be very hard for a man to have sexual relations with a woman in the front seat of a truck due to the fact of how an SUV is made. Having the console in the middle, it would be very hard for him to do anything with her. I'm almost using my mind to think he would have had to get out of the car to make himself comfortable, to do a sexual act with her, okay? Just because of how trucks sit up high, there's a console in the middle, and he's a very big guy. So did he get out of the car? At any time in that surveillance to do his dirty deeds with her? Or did he assault her in that passenger seat, walk around, push the seat back, and had his way with her? Because you have to make it make sense, considering that he was the driver. She was allegedly put in the passenger seat. And I'm assuming they know this from the video surveillance. Did he, as I said, physically assault her in that car, in the parking lot? Subdue her, rape her, and kill her during the 4 minutes? Because that's a very short window to do all those acts. The risk he took being on the University of Memphis campus, not thinking that someone would drive by, see him wrestling with her to put her in the car, riding around, not thinking that maybe he could be pulled over for some reason. Police sitting somewhere watching the car go round and round and round. As I said, how many times did he go around the street and streets of this university looking for a victim, or Mrs. Fletcher, if indeed she was the intended target? How about this? He didn't care. Where did he discard her? Because remember, his shoes were left behind alongside her water bottle and cell phone. So that means this burly animal assaulted this woman, possibly in that car, or took her somewhere else and did the deed, discarded her barefoot. Listen to what I'm saying. Barefoot from the time he put her inside of that car. Yes, he could have punched her. That's why I said he could have punched her when he first got her inside. He's done all this deviant work with this woman with no shoes on. But he had to discard her. So wherever he took her, are his feet damaged? Because we won't know until we find out where she's been discarded. How far back in of an area would it perhaps he took her? But nonetheless, he had to get out, park the car, get out, take her out, carry her or drag her to the said location by foot. No shoes on. That shows you how diabolical Cleotha is. He didn't care about surveillance cameras. He didn't care about being seen. He didn't care about campus police riding through the property, the streets. He didn't care about anybody else running by, jogging, walking, looking out of a window. He didn't care. And that's another thing. Will the surveillance show her screaming when he runs upon her in that street? Was she running in the street or on a sidewalk? Stay woke. I have not heard. I just heard that the truck was in the street when he approached her. How many eyewitnesses have spoken to law enforcement? And how many eyewitnesses saw what happened from the beginning to the end and have not spoken? What did they see and what have they told law enforcement? After this dirty deed, Cleo goes to his brothers. And we know that he goes to his brother because I believe he's living with a woman by the name of Gwendolyn Brown. Her name has been revealed by Heavy.com as being registered owner of the vehicle and at a said address at Hickory Hill Apartments, where he is also linked to have stayed before his arrest. So it is my common sense telling me he didn't go back home directly after the assault, kidnapping, and murder of this woman because he couldn't go back in that house. So that leads me to believe Gwendolyn was not working a third shift where he could have went home and changed his clothes before she got there. He knew she was home. That's why he didn't go back. That's why he went to Mario's apartment. And Mario and that eyewitness female, they know what happened. They know something happened. Let me say that. Because only a fool would let somebody into their house with no shoes on and bloody. Bottom line. Were there other cohorts along for the ride? This is a cowardly act. Stalking, sexual assault, torture, and murder. But he did use 2 people with him that were minors in the other crime back in 2000. Is it possible he wanted to have some others play funny games with this female? Are there other cohorts that were inside of the vehicle when he approached Liza Fletcher? Or did he do this by himself? What all information has been told to Mario, the brother, by Cleo? Did he tell Mario and that lady what he did? Or did he lie and say he had an altercation with somebody? The fact that they knew he was cleaning the floorboards of the car leads me to believe they knew he had some type of altercation with someone. See, we don't know what Cleo told the brother and the girl, but we do know they have knowledge that he's committed a crime because he was washing his bloody clothes in the sink. So that means he hurt her terribly. Because why would you need to wash your clothes? The common sense thing to do would be discard the clothes. Why are you going to try to wash clothes, period, in a sink or washing machine? Everyone knows that blood does not come out of clothes. So there's no purpose in keeping the clothes. And the fact that you've committed a crime, it would be foolish to keep the clothes. But her DNA is inside of that vehicle. And there's no way, as I said in the last slide, he cleaned up everything out of that SUV. Let's talk about the return of the SUV to Gwendolyn Brown. If indeed Gwendolyn Brown was at the home when he returned, what happened when he returned to that apartment? Any words said? Did he ever get into the house directly? Or he was accosted by police? Because there's some issue about a car incident, that he had an accident in the car with the ATF. So I'm not really getting a true understanding of this car accident with the ATF versus when he made it home, didn't make it home, because I can't see he made it home to get in and talk to her if he had a car accident with the ATF. So is it perhaps they were following him, found him, or were looking for him? He went on a pursuit. They rammed their car into him, and he called himself running back to that apartment, and they apprehended him there. Because my understanding, that is where he was arrested, was at the Hickory Hill apartment. So why would you foolishly drive the SUV back there as to draw attention to the neighbors and everybody in your damn business? What happened between Gwendolyn and this man? Because that's going to also play a role into who Cleotha is and what he's been doing since he got out of penitentiary. How long has she been dating him? What signs did she see in his behavior? Did he ever try to do anything she did not like? Does she know of him messing and sleeping with other women? Does she know of him trying to attack other women? Because we have neighbors coming forward saying he's always offered women money for sex, $100. He was a stalker. Who are these witnesses that are saying this about Mr. Abston? Mario's neighbors or the neighbors at Hickory Hill where he and Gwendolyn lived? And as I said, how long have they been dating? Does she work, have a job? Are there other children in the said household, other people living in this household? Whose name is on the lease? Is his name on the lease? Has he been accosting other women, touching other women inappropriately, saying inappropriate things to other women? Has he made passes, advances to other neighbors? Are there other victims of sexual assault and worse, murder? What has he been doing since he's been released from penitentiary? Why did he escalate into this monster? See, everyone is entitled to forgiveness. That's what the scripture says. If you believe in the scripture. If you believe in forgiveness. You're entitled to redeem yourself. You should want to redeem yourself. You've been committing crimes at whatever age, but you have to want to change. So here we have a young man who's been committing crimes since a young boy. I do not know the exact age, but I do know the first charge, that's a felony, was at the age of 16, alongside him picking up a 12-year-old boy and another boy to kidnap that lawyer back in 2000. So he's had a not so good past. So what are all his charges up until 16? Those records would be sealed naturally. And 9 times out of 10, the crime he committed at 16 as a robbery and kidnapping, he would have been charged as an adult. So did he go straight to prison or a juvenile facility and then turned over to state prison at 18 and or 21? What happened to him in the prison? Because my thought process is that something happened to him in that prison for him to get out and take revenge on this white woman. Why her? Is there a connection to Liza Fletcher, her uncle, and victim number 1? Is this some payback for some way back? Did somebody from that law firm have some connection to him after his first charge of kidnapping? Did he seek help from this law firm? Did somebody from the law firm say anything negatively about him in his 20 years of being incarcerated? What is the deal? Because what are the odds, as they're saying in this commentary at News Nation, this woman speaking, that Liza's uncle works for the law firm that victim number 1 worked for many moons ago, and victim number 1 is no longer living? Is this just happenstance? 6 degrees of separation, the earth collided these beings upon each other's paths, and it's just an odd, weird coincidence? Or is this personal? He knew Liza Fletcher from TV, social media. He knew that her uncle worked for that law firm. Possibly he knew the decedent at one time before death. And he planned this either while incarcerated or when he got out. I don't know. But I'm only bringing forth this information because it was revealed here in this audio by News Nation. As I said, it could be no coincidence. Well, I don't know about the judge situation, but as I said, Memphis is a small city and many people know each other, such as the city I live here. A lot of people know each other. So even when you go through social media, friends of friends, a lot of people are friends with each other because a lot of people know each other. And all walks of life intertwine. And that is something many people may not understand about small town living. Even the good intervenes and mingles with the bad and the mediocre. You don't know who cleaned house for somebody, who babysat for somebody, who went to school, high school with somebody, who dated somebody's brother or sister, cousin, mama. See where I'm going? You have no idea. But when you live in a small city, all types of people intermingle with one another. They date each other. They cross each other paths in courthouses, probation offices, rehab, church, functions, bars, parties, everywhere. Lives cross over. When I get more information pertaining to this connection, I will surely bring it to you. Well, let's talk more about these people in this storyline. How many years has the brother lived at those apartments where he resided with the female, if indeed he lived there with a female? Is his name on the lease? How long has Cleotha been staying with Gwendolyn at Hickory Hill? Where did they meet? Are there other people living in the house, such as children? In this commentary with News Nation, you hear that law enforcement is searching South Memphis in a wooded area. Why? Have phone pings been linked to this area from Cleotha's phone? We know that the victim didn't have a phone because it smashed during the violent abduction on the campus. It's also been said where she was abducted. She lived 5 miles away from the abduction site. November 01, he was convicted of carjacking and robbery. He was sentenced to 24 years in prison and released early November 2020. The connection has been mentioned also, as I'm going to say again. Liza's uncle worked at the same law firm of victim number 1 pertaining to Cleotha. Is there a connection? Cleotha will stand in court or via video tomorrow. He has additional charges to stand account for in a court of law. Identity theft, theft of $1,000 or less, fraud, debit card, $1,000 or less. And they have not confirmed if these said charges are in relation to Liza Fletcher. So as I said to you earlier, the difference between the two, if not confirmed, is that victim 1 was a man put in a trunk for the purposes of robbery when he was 16 years of age. He's now 38 years of age, and he has kidnapped a female, assaulted her, physically and sexually, possibly dead, and we hadn't heard of anything stolen from the victim until today. He's facing charges of theft, identity theft, less than $1,000. Did he steal something from Liza Fletcher? Now, one's going to ask, what could he have stolen? She wasn't at home, she wasn't at work, and she wasn't inside of a vehicle. It can only be 2 things, or 3. Damage to the phone, but they didn't say damaged property. That leaves wedding rings, jewelry she had on, and if she did run out with a debit card. I do not have verification of the said theft charges if they're in relation to Mrs. Fletcher, but it would be very interesting to find out that these debit card identity theft is in relation to this woman. That means, let's say, hypothetically, she did have a debit card on her person, a wedding ring on. He stole the wedding ring, he stole the debit card, and after he left her, he went somewhere spending money, buying purchases, pressing the credit, unless he asked her for the PIN so he could get money off the card before he made it to the brothers and or after the fact. What's the truth? Are these theft charges related to Liza Fletcher? I do not know. When I get to said information, I will bring you this. You're entitled to your opinion if you believe this is personal, this abduction / possible murder of Mrs. Fletcher. Some believe possibly that the husband did it, hired somebody because he lawyered up, which is very strange for someone to lawyer up after reporting their own wife missing. Very strange. Then we get information that there was a suspect apprehended. Then we find out he's been charged. Cleo has a $50,000 post up if he can make the $500,000 bail. Let's talk about that. What are the odds that he can make the damn bond? Shut up. Imagine that. We have seen all types of unsavory people, unsavory crimes where the bond was posted. I noticed that here in my own town, where the girl who shot Tyanja posted bond, $200-something thousand bond. They say the boyfriend is the one that posted the bond. I do not have verification if indeed that fucker posted the bond, because he's the reason that the young girl is dead now. Girlfriend popping up on them, showing out, shoots through a car and kills Tyanja. And then later makes bond. So what are the odds the person she's supposed to be allegedly shooting at and misses is also the same person that posted her damn bond? Now imagine that. We live in a crazy world. And the crazy part of this story, besides the act itself, is the fact that this woman liked true crime podcasts. And I went into deep conversation during the last live, a 2-hour plus live, to bring you the said information as it was given to me. You don't know people. So in the end, it doesn't matter if this was personal or not. She had no idea that going out for a run, she would end up. All right, calm down in the chat. She didn't know that this would be her last day. And I've often wondered that with people who have been violently killed. Did they know that would be their last day? What did they do that day? How were they feeling that day? Did they get any type of inkling something was off that day? Did she have any inkling that she would not see Friday? What was her last words to her husband, her children? What did she do on Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening? Did she hug her children before putting them to bed? Did she have a glass of wine? Margarita? What did she eat? What was she talking about? Who did she talk to? Did she have a fight, an argument with her husband, friend, neighbor? What was she doing? And we can ask the same pertaining to the suspect. What was Cleo doing up until the AM Friday? What possessed him to go out into the night and use another person's vehicle to kidnap this woman? You see, you have to ask all the pertinent questions in order to understand the mind frame of the suspect. And some will say, I don't care, what he did was wrong. Well, we know what he did is wrong, but it's curiosity. And that's the scary part of this story as well, is trying to get into the mind of a diabolical being. Who is Cleotha Pookie Abston? And how did he come to be on that university campus early Friday morning stalking Liza Fletcher? And why did he choose Liza Fletcher? Why did he run up on her, throw her inside, assault her, kill her? For what reason? Whether he had been locked up or not, it makes no logical sense. But that is the gist of the story. It's not supposed to make any logical sense. Because how can you derive something logical from something illogical? You can't. And you definitely can't get logic behind the diabolical. Don't ever think you cannot be Liza Fletcher. Whether you're a woman, man, or child. People go missing in the United States every day. And I brought you commentary of how many people are currently missing out of this great country. 600,000. And that's probably not the accurate number, because there are people who probably don't have a lot of friends and family, and nobody even knows they're damn missing because they don't talk to them. So this is why I preach this to other social media platforms, that you need to stay in contact with people. You need to call people. You need to check up on people. You need to visit people. Stop relying on social media, waiting for somebody to post, because a dead person can't post to Facebook. A YouTuber can't go live if they're dead. Can't make TikTok videos if you're dead. This is why I say, check up on people. Go by their homes, knock on their doors. Ask them, hey, can we get together? I'll just visit for a little while. People are more private these days, standoffish, funky acting. So they don't entertain people in their homes. But the point of the story is you need to stay in contact with people so somebody can verify when they last spoke with you in case you go missing. Tell people where you're going. If you're going on a date, especially with a stranger, meeting a stranger, traveling on the highway, long distance traveling. The point of the story, once again, you can get missing traveling 30 minutes down the damn road. It doesn't have to be you went 3-4 hours down the highway and got missing, car trouble, snatched up at the gas station, whichsoever. When the devil decides he wants to play, he doesn't need permission. And he doesn't care who's looking, because he's using an empty vessel to do the dirty deed. Such as with Mr. Abston. He didn't give a damn who saw him. Cameras in the sky. He did what he wanted to do. And now he's going to pay the piper. And I want you all to visualize a 16-year-old child committing crimes, becoming a felon, going to prison, sitting in a prison with grown men, probably been sexually assaulted himself, laying up around the dirtiest of men in there, to only come out of there to go right back in. I want you to think about that. He was a child when he went into penitentiary, possibly. If indeed they took him straight away, or 18, 21. The point is, he still had the mind of a child. Diabolical, but still a childlike mind. And you sit in that jail/prison near 20 years. Supposed to have done 24, but gets out because he did 85% of his time. To only come out to the street and kidnap a woman. Why? Why would he forfeit his freedom to kidnap this lady, murder this lady? What did she do to him to deserve this punishment? And now other people will suffer as a punishment for being related to Liza Fletcher, such as her children, her husband, her parents, siblings, church, the school she taught at, the students, the faculty, the neighbors, the city as a whole. Because now people will be in fear on the University of Memphis campus. But that is the whole point. You should have known that at any minute, any day, any hour, the Reaper will appear. He doesn't need to give you a heads up when he's coming. And he will use anyone to do the dirty deed. Please be aware of your surroundings. Ladies, walking alone is not advised in the dark. Traveling alone is not advised in the dark. Running, walking on trails at night is not advised. Because when the Reaper comes, there's nobody there but you and the Reaper and the strength that you have. And you may not win. And I don't believe this lady won. Was she discarded in South Memphis? And that is why the LE has been looking in a certain wooded area. Will we find out she was discarded in that wooded area? So many clues came out immediately by the grace of God, because there's so many people who are currently missing and they do not have the luxury of having steadfast law enforcement and clues and eyes in the sky on their cases and in their cases. She's one of the lucky ones, because a lot of people are missing and there are no clues. There are no eyewitnesses, allegedly. There are no surveillance cameras. There are no shoes left behind, water bottles, phones. No video surveillance of a SUV. No surveillance of being abducted, pushed into a truck. Nothing. Nada. So planned or not, intended victim or not, it was sloppy, because the eyes were in the sky. And he was seen on a camera or cameras pushing that woman in that truck, possibly riding up and down the street several times, circling. He's been seen. So let's go there before I check out of here. Okay, thank you. Somebody says in the chat they found the body. Okay. Let me check something out before I check out of here. Hold on. Oh Lordy. What a mess. Let me type in something. Okay. All right, everybody, let me play the latest information I just found. It's the only thing that's coming up so far pertaining to her. Thank you for that in the chat. Oh, Lord have mercy. This doesn't seem to be confirmed, but I'm going to play it. Live from Fox is the source. Live now from Fox. Thank you for joining me. Thank you all. If you'd like to donate to the channel, $sign McGangie, 129 Cash App. All stickers and chats are welcome during this live. This was uploaded, let's see, about an hour or so ago. Let me see. 5:07 p.m., 1600 block of Victor. Located a deceased party. The identity of this person and the cause of death is unconfirmed at this time. Investigation ongoing. New charges have been filed against the man accused of abducting Memphis mother and teacher, Liza Fletcher. I already gave you that information of his new theft charges and identity theft charges. Thank you for joining me. Waiting for this video to upload. We'll see what they have. But right now, naturally, you know they have to do an autopsy to confirm if indeed this body is of a Caucasian woman matching Liza Fletcher. They have to wait to get an ID and do an autopsy. Thank you for joining me. Have to get an ID first, and then an autopsy will ensue. I don't know why this is taking forever to play. Hold on, you guys. These commercials, they got to get their money. One second. I don't know why this is taking so long. Let me go back in, because this is taking forever to play, this video. I think they're going to play. Wait.
7 p.m. officers in the 1600 block of Victor located a deceased party. The identity of this person and the cause of the death is unconfirmed at this time. The investigation is ongoing. Once additional information is available, we will provide an update. Here is a live picture out there of Memphis as we've been following a story due to the disappearance of a jogger. They've made an arrest out there in Memphis. We're not 100% sure if this is the same investigation. We're still waiting for Memphis police to give us an update on that. But here's what we do know now from our Fox 13 affiliate out there in Memphis. Kayla Solomon says police focused on this area. Here we're looking at live, just walking distance away from Cleotha Abston's brother's home in South Memphis. Cleotha Abston is the person they have arrested and charged with kidnapping.
Walking distance.
So close to their brother's home in South Memphis. The streets
same place.
off,
okay.
And they include several streets: Dyson, Person, and South Orleans. And this is the same wooded area we observed. They observed that search yesterday. They're also looking at an intersection on Chestnut Avenue. Dozens of police vehicles there as we continue to try to find more information. But certainly a lot of police activity there from Memphis as this jogger's disappearance in the last few days. Of course, new charges have been filed against the man accused of abducting a Memphis mother and teacher, Liza Fletcher. Fletcher was kidnapped while running at around 4:30 a.m. on Friday, September 2nd, near the University of Memphis, according to Memphis police. 2 days later, on September 4th, yesterday, Cleotha Abston was arrested and charged with aggravated kidnapping there. As you can see our shot going down a little bit. This is what we do here on Live Now from Fox. Certainly live pictures go in and out as we're trying to get the latest breaking news. We're going back to the tweet from the Memphis Police Department as we still await more information out of Memphis, and we'll keep an eye on that shot just to give you an update. Here, Addison was given a $500,000 bond and charged with especially aggravated kidnapping and tampering there in Memphis. We are continuing to watch all of the story. Here is some surveillance video that police saw as she was pushed toward a vehicle for the kidnapping there, as Cleotha Abston is now under arrest and charged by police. Monday, September 5th, today, new charges announced against Abston, seemingly from an unrelated incident before Fletcher was abducted. We are continuing to follow this story as I'm trying to find more information. But Memphis police say Abston was connected to Fletcher's abduction after his sandals were found near Fletcher's cell phone and water bottle close to Central Avenue and Zach Curlin Street, the area where authorities claim Abston forced Fletcher into a black 2013 GMC Terrain. I am currently seeing now a live picture once more, so we're going to go back out to it. Here's another live picture from Memphis as they investigate a jogger's disappearance. We're still hearing more on this situation, this investigation out there in Memphis. We have now more information from the affidavit on the Memphis kidnapping. On this update we're providing you, police discovered that body as the abduction was violent, with, as captured on video, the subject waiting for, then rushing towards the victim, then forcing the victim into the car where she was confined and removed and continues to be missing. It is believed and supported by the facts and physical evidence that she suffered serious injury. Further, it is probable and apparent from witness statements that these injuries left evidence of blood in the car the defendant claimed. This is according to the affidavit there on those arrests and charges out of Memphis. Here's again one more look at the live picture we're getting from our affiliates in Memphis as they're investigating a body that they found, still unsure if it is Liza Fletcher, but this is a lot of people are keeping an eye on it here, especially us at Live Now from Fox, just about 5:07. So Memphis police said they located
5 hours
the
ago.
Deceased party.
They're an hour behind Eastern Standard Time.
Cause of death unconfirmed at this time. The investigation is ongoing. But you can see a lot of lights and sirens there from the Memphis police, as there's a lot
It is
of
9:26 Memphis time.
police tape there from this live picture as you're watching here on Live Now from Fox. We're continuing to try to find more information on this situation going on here, but those are the details right now that we know so far here on Live Now for Fox. I'm going to put up a little bit more information just so you can see what we're focusing on here. And here's a scene, as you can see on the left side of the screen. Just more information if you're just joining us late here on Live Now from Fox. It is 5:30 on the West Coast. About 8:30 is, as you can see, the sun going down there on the East Coast, Memphis.
Let me read what it says on this video. If you need verification, Live Now from Fox is the source. I will post it to my community board. Memphis police find dead body. Identity and cause of death unconfirmed. New charges against man accused of abducting woman in Memphis. Suspect Cleotha, Abston, also accused of taking woman's wallet before abduction. So what woman is that? Is this another person that he robbed that he's currently being charged on identity theft and fraud, or is this the wallet belonging to the missing woman? Thank you for joining me.
East Coast time, I believe.
All right, everybody, that's a commercial break. Let me turn that down and let them roll their commercial out. Let's see what else they have to say here. Thank you all so much for joining me. Oh, what a mess. What a mess. So they were obviously searching that area a day before, South Memphis. So are we talking about them seizing his phone and seeing a ping in that general area, and that is what led them to go to this area? What is over in this area? Shopping malls, houses, what? What's in this area? And as I told you all, he was on foot carrying the body somewhere, if indeed he killed her. He was on barefoot because, remember, he lost his shoes in the street in the struggle with this woman. And I'm assuming it's the street because they said that's where the car was, in the street. They didn't say it was on the sidewalk. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Thank you so much. God bless all of you. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. So this man didn't care about being seen, parking the car in the street, throwing this woman in here, taking her in the parking lot to do whatever he did with her for 4 minutes, then went somewhere else, dumped her, then went to his brother's house. We also get information that this location where they're looking and searching and retrieved the body is in walking distance, I believe, of his brother's. So it makes you wonder, is the brother also involved? Because what are the odds of the proximity of all of these places? That's something I meant to mention while I've been talking. What is the proximity of the University of Memphis, where she was abducted, to the dump site, and the dump site to the brother's apartment and his apartment from all those locations I just mentioned? How far is Hickory Hill from Mario's apartment? How far is Hickory Hill from the University of Memphis where he abducted Liza Fletcher? How far is Hickory Hill where he lives to where this body is dumped, if indeed this is her? Sorry about this. 1 minute.
This area today. Thank you for joining us for News Channel 3.
Now what's happening here? Sorry.
Right, yeah, so for the majority of the day, this road actually was blocked by a cruiser for several hours. We saw officers coming and going on ATVs. We were just able to get back to this area where they reopened this road to the public. Take a look at what we're seeing right now. Some pretty heavy vegetation down here in South Memphis, but it's also kind of off in an industrial area, but you can see it's a wooded area. And again, there's some heavy vegetation. So why they probably had those ATVs out here searching. And we saw dozens upon dozens of officers. Now, we did talk to a law enforcement expert about what could be going on in this investigation.
Looks like railroad tracks.
After Fletcher's abduction. We were there as investigators scoured a wooded area in South Memphis Monday. Counting more than a dozen MPD cruisers with detectives. Officers will not officially say we're looking for answers in the disappearance of avid runner, teacher, and mother Liza Fletcher.
I have a daughter that's almost her age, and I'm sure that her family and friends are really, really frantic and concerned right now.
This location is less than 2 miles from an apartment complex where witnesses told police they saw Fletcher's accused kidnapper, Cleotha Abston, cleaning out an SUV, washing his clothes and acting strangely. Benny Cobb, a retired Shelby County Sheriff's captain and public safety trainer, spent decades working in law enforcement.
This is unlike most missing persons, or it's been a long time since we've seen a kidnapping to this magnitude where
All right,
there's
everybody.
no ransom demands or the person hadn't been released.
Yes.
And then the investigation shows that there was mass violence involved in this kidnapping.
It's day 4 in the search for Fletcher, as she was initially reported missing Friday morning following her normal morning run. Police records say while her abduction by the University of Memphis was caught on camera, another crucial clue, Abston's DNA, left on a slide sandal discovered at the scene. Investigators were able to use a federal database to tie Abston, already convicted of a kidnapping more than 20 years ago, to the crime. We asked Cobb about the rapid pace the DNA was processed. He commended local law enforcement for quickly involving other agencies.
Having the FBI and the TBI come in pretty quickly, it increases your resources. It gives you more resources that you can use. And as a result, we are where we are now as far as having somebody in custody, somebody charged for the kidnapping of this young lady. When you bring in the feds who have these unlimited dollars and unlimited ability and resources to help you out, that's going to absolutely help to speed up the investigation.
And Greg Cobb says tips in this case are crucial. He believes officers are now following up on all the tips they get. Of course, if you have any, call Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH. We're live in South Memphis tonight. Shay Arthur, WREG News Channel 3.
As the mystery continues, as does the pain and frustration for the family tonight. Shay, thanks.
I'm showing the people the area, if that's okay with you all, if you don't mind, so people can get a general idea of what the area looks like. Wow. Okay. In the end, it's a bad situation for whomever the body belongs to. That's somebody out there. If indeed it's a woman, that's still somebody out there that has no business being out there. When I get more information, if indeed this is Liza Fletcher, I will bring you this information. This is a tragedy. But I think a lot of people, especially African-American people, are going to wonder why information got out so quickly as far as DNA testing, because we know that in most cities, the logs are backed up for DNA testing, rape kits and such through TBI and the FBI. And many people have been upset at the fact that Black and Indian women have not gotten the attention of when they go missing, girl, children, and women. And I understand that because I am an African-American female myself. And I have to ask myself, will this much effort go into finding me or another Black woman in the United States? And people are going to ask that, those that care. Because you have to admit, there was a rush put on the slides, cell phone. Would this have happened had information came from the university that a woman was abducted and she was Indian or Black or Hispanic? And many people are going to ask that. Because a lot of people were raising hell when the Petito case came about, that she got so much attention and she stayed on the news for months, her story and information pertaining to her and the information pertaining to the boyfriend, Brian Laundrie. And I'm sure many are going to say the same right now. Why did you all rush to do a DNA sample of those shoes when many women go missing in this country that are not Caucasian? And I know that's going to be a heavy discussion soon. I'm going to ask this question, as I said. Why did he dump the body near where the brother lived? Did the brother live in close proximity to the University of Memphis? That's something I need to research. I should have done that before I came on live. I can do it while I'm here now. Hold on one second. Let me see. I don't even think I've got the name of those apartments. I have to look through all this paperwork. Hickory Hill. Let's see. Because I wrote it down. I've got so many papers. Oh my goodness. Yes, all life is important. That's the point. That is the point. Hold on. Let me see. I've got to find the name of those apartments where the brother lived so I can see. One second, you guys. I got to look through some stuff. I want to find these apartments where the brother lived. Let me see if I've got them in my notes here. It's too much information all at once. Something Gardens. I can't remember the name. I had it in that video I was watching. I don't see that I wrote it down. It's very interesting information. Let's see. Oh, there it is, Longview Gardens. Hold on one second. There we go. Thank you all for your patience. We're going to do a little Googling. How far is Longview Gardens to University of Memphis? How far is Longview Gardens to University of Memphis? I don't think they got this right. How far is Longview Garden Apartments to the University of Memphis campus? I need my Google. This thing is not showing. Well, it's not coming up. I have to do maps, I guess. Let's see. Oh, here it is. 18 minutes. 7.3 miles, light traffic. Thank you all for joining me. Lakeview Gardens. I guess that's the name of it. I don't think that's right. Longview Gardens. That's not right. I have to do that again. Let me type in a different name. Won't let me do it on this map for some reason. Oh, Lord. How far is Longview Garden Apartments to the University of Memphis? I don't know if they changed the name. They're saying Lakeview Gardens, but this, I don't know if that's the same name. Longview Garden. The apartments where the brother stayed. I guess I'll type that in. 1726 South Orleans. 1726 South Orleans. Oh, Lord. How far is 1726 South Orleans to the University of Memphis?
According to Trillia.com, this apartment is located at 1726S, Orleans Street number 17212, Memphis, Tennessee 1726S. Orleans Street number 17212 is in the downtown neighborhood in Memphis, Tennessee, and in zip code 38106.
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked. I'm getting 21 minutes, 21 minutes. I don't know if that's correct because the name of the apartment is Longview unless it's been changed. Maybe at one time it was Lakeview. I'm not really sure. Let me go back in. This is strange. Because you have to be specific in what you type. Yeah, 7.2 miles, about 19 minutes, roughly in there. We'll do that. 18 to 21 minutes. So it's very strange. Very, very strange. So if indeed this is a 19, 20-minute drive, let's just roughly do 18 to 21 minutes. Why did he go in that area to dump the body? 1 hour and 34 minutes in this live. Thank you for joining me. This says 7.2 miles, light traffic, 19 minutes, 1726 South Orleans Street to the University of Memphis. 7.2 miles. Why did he hunt this lady? Is this personal? Was this random? Is this has something to do with his case from years ago? The lawyer that was his first victim? You have to ask all that now because it's been mentioned. I don't know if there's a correlation or not. But why this woman? Why take her 20 minutes to an area close to his brother's apartment? Because they're saying this area where this body's been found, if indeed it is Liza Fletcher, it's not too far from where his brother lived. So you're talking about at least 20 minutes plus drive from the University of Memphis to dump this body, enough time to have playtime with the victim. Stay woke now. And remember, he's on foot. He doesn't have shoes. So he's walking in a wooded area. I want you all to listen to what I'm saying because this is crazy. This man has no shoes on, and he's willing, once again, committing a crime, even though it's dark, people aren't out, but still they had cameras. That's how he was seen, putting her in the vehicle. You now have your way with her, do something to her for 4 minutes in a parking lot on the same campus, just in a hurry to get in with this woman, sickly, then take her from the parking lot all the way 20-something minutes out of the area from the campus to do God knows what else, if he still had more to do to the victim, and then dump her in this area. Why? I do not know. So what is the correlation between the dump site, if indeed this is her, versus where the brother lives? Because you see, he went directly to the brother hours later. So what time did he get to his brother's apartment? It had to be morning because he got arrested at 10:45 at Hickory Hill. So what time did he get from the dump site to the brothers? What did he have on when he got to the brothers? Fully clothed, took off his shirt. What? Did he go directly to the door? Bloody, head to toe. What had blood on it? Shirt, pants, what? As I said, what was the conversation when they opened the door? Who opened the door? This is absolutely crazy. All right, everybody's coming in the chat with all these different versions of what they heard. I'm not repeating anything that I heard. I'm only bringing you what has been mentioned on the news because you all are all over the place with schools, houses, this and that. I cannot repeat that because right now, I don't even have confirmation. She's the person that was found in South Memphis as of yet. So I can't say what was what just yet. The point I'm mentioning is, if indeed this is her body, it was found near his brother's house. Why? Why did you take her to that location? And then why did you go to the brother's house? And what did they say when they saw him standing at the door, whoever opened the door? Why weren't you questioning what the hell he was doing washing these clothes in the sink? What exactly did he wash in the sink? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What exactly did he wash in the sink? Because we know he didn't have any shoes on. So that should have been a red flag right there, besides if he was bloodied or not. Shirt bloody, pants bloody, no shoes on, looking erratic. As they said, acting strange. Why the hell would you let him in your house? And the fact you knew that he cleaned the truck tells me everything I need to know. You all are just as guilty. That's why I put those polls up on my community board earlier. Should the brother and the girlfriend be charged with accessory after the fact because they didn't call the police? Should he get the death penalty if indeed it's in the statutes of the law here in Tennessee? Weapon use. Weapon use, commission of a crime. We don't even know if he used his hands only or a weapon or both. This is bad. Because she, to me, no matter who she is, white, black, wealthy, related to somebody wealthy, she's still a human being. And I don't play the race cards. I try my best not to, because in the end, she's a human being and she's a mother and she has children, okay? And she's a wife. And yes, many black women don't get the attention deserved when they go missing. The resources tend to be lax. The labor in getting things done is lax. Getting the information out to the news stations, the newspapers, the general public is lax. Sometimes their family is lax. I've seen it myself here recently. Putting out information for somebody, I'm going to be truthful. I don't even care for the person who the child belongs to, but I did it because somebody else who's related to the person mentioned the story to me. See, this is what I keep trying to tell you all. You really don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And I've told many of you, there are certain things that if I could tell you, there will be a lot of angry people very angry with me. Because you all really don't know what goes on behind the closed doors of people that are missing. Some of these folks ain't as concerned as you think they are or should be. Nasty attitudes, favoritism on who they want to get the information out. I wouldn't give a damn who wanted to talk about my brother, sister, cousin, child missing. So just so long as the information gets out. Do you understand what I'm saying? Picking and choosing who you want to spin the story with. And I understand with this public platform, YouTube probably ain't the best place to talk to people about missing people because you don't know the spirit of the messenger. So that's why a lot of people don't want to talk to YouTubers about serious crime because they've heard such horrible things that go on YouTube. And I get that. And when you see people don't take things serious and they play a lot of games up here and a lot of bashing, why would I want you talking about my loved one? And I get that. I can honestly respect that. That's why I don't want to engage in that type of behavior because I can't go out here and talk about missing people and then be up here arguing with a buffoon about a missing person or child. How's that beneficial? It's not. It's not. And I don't want to do it with a YouTuber. I don't want to do it with somebody in the chat. That's why a lot of times, as I've told you, a lot of times when you all are speaking and talking, I don't even respond because usually it's pointless. Because I don't get up here for that. I didn't come up here. I do a lot of digging and researching to try to bring you the best information. And I've already told you that what one network will have, another one won't have. You could stay on social media for hours trying to bring the best content pertaining to the story. But things change pertaining to the minute, the hour. Nothing stays the same with true crime. You could break a story and be on the air 2 hours, an hour talking, and by the time you cut the computer off, the phone off, there's a new development. Then people go rush to the comments to tell you, oh, you didn't say this and this happened. Well, I didn't get the update. And there are lots of things I'm actually subscribed to and still don't get the updates pertaining to the storyline. And I'll see that it's been in the queue 1 day, 2 days. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even get a notification that the story had broke or a new development because that's just the way it is. And frankly, this is like a full-time job bringing you the information because you have to stay on it. And there's going to be a time when a person is just not going to be on social media getting the information. But nonetheless, she's a human being. She did not deserve this. No woman deserves this. And this is bad. Because as I said, whether this is personal or not, she's a human being. And no one deserves to be kidnapped, whether it was 4 o'clock in the morning or 12 o'clock in the afternoon. But like I've said, I don't think a lot of you know what goes on behind closed doors with missing people. I've seen it personally, how the people act and behave, and it's atrocious. But they don't want you to know how they behave because they would never want it to get out that they acted like buffoons pertaining to a missing person. And I've seen people actually turn on each other who are involved in helping try to locate and get the information out about a missing person. I mean, just baffling behavior. That's why I don't want to talk to anybody locally about a missing person, because I've dealt with a few people and I didn't like what I saw pertaining to the relatives' behavior. And I'm going to go on and say that during this live because it's my opinion. And I don't have any reason to lie. Some of you all act ignorant as hell. And if the public knew you acted the way you acted, talked the way you talked, they'd be just stunned. But this is why I'm saying, you don't know people. You don't know the victims. You don't know their families. You don't know the suspect. You don't know the suspect's family. You really have no idea what the hell you're listening to out here. That's just how crazy the world is. You just have no idea. But nonetheless, this is still a human being that did not deserve this. And as I said, even if it's not Liza Fletcher, it's still somebody. And the fact that they had a heavy police presence, it would lead one to think it is pertaining to Liza Fletcher, because they've been in Memphis looking in different places. So one would say, for the record, I'm going to say, they were looking in different places, law enforcement, because perhaps Cleotha was driving around trying to find the best place to dump her body. Stay woke now. And he also knew he was going to have to trek up in some woods, shed, something with heavy brush on foot. Are you listening to what I'm saying to you? I got to get her out this car. I got to get her somewhere where they won't find her. But that's the gist of the story. If you don't know her, nobody knows you know her. Does it really matter where you discard her body? You're trying to get rid of her and get gone. Stay woke now. Because you got to be able to park, not be detected sitting in the road or a side street, sidewalk. You got to get the victim out of the car. You got to shut the door. Then you got to carry the victim wherever it is you're going to leave the body. And don't you find it strange? Every time a person goes missing, murdered, and it's in the wee hour night when they're killed, there is never a damn witness to the actual killing and the discardment of the body. I want you to think about that. With all these eyes in the sky, numerous surveillance cameras around businesses, on the buildings, sides of the buildings, traffic lights with cameras, the day a person goes missing, rarely is there any damn footage of the going to and fro and of the dumping of the body. Don't you find it interesting? But in this one case, we finally get that needle in the haystack, because it was wide open. The university has cameras, and naturally they would, because they have many people traveling to and fro on the campus. Campuses usually do have crime at some point, and they want to make sure the children and faculty and staff are safe and visitors are safe. So they would have cameras in the general area. That's the expected thing. That's why he got caught. But it's a possibility, had he been somewhere else, there wouldn't have been any footage of him putting her in that car, unless somebody caught it on a doorbell camera. Now, who's to say that on the street where he put her in the car, there may have been some doorbell cameras that caught him putting her in the car. So we may be talking about more than one camera of the actual abduction. And I hope there are more cameras. Traffic lights, doorbell cameras, businesses of the car going by on the street, sitting at the stoplight in the area where she's discarded. All of the above. But right now, I'm curious to why she was dumped where she was, if indeed that's Liza Fletcher. And why did he dump the body near the brother's apartment? And why did he go to the brother's apartment? But as I said, I know why he went there. It's because he couldn't walk in that house where he lives with that woman with bloody clothes and trying to discard the clothes and walking half naked. She could have been up. She could have been getting ready for work. I don't know, because I don't know if the lady works, what her work schedule is. But he didn't want to risk getting out. People could have been hanging out in an apartment complex, because I don't know what type of apartment complex it is. If it has a lot of traffic, people hanging out, him being seen getting out the car with no shoes plus bloody clothes. Somebody would have told it, because somebody's already told they saw him at 7 a.m. cleaning out the truck. So that's either eyewitnesses in the apartment complex where the brother lived, plus the brother and the girl telling it. Either or both. How far is Hickory Hill Apartments to the University of Memphis? 1 second, you guys. Now we're going to see how far his apartment is to the University of Memphis. Doesn't want to show me what the... That's not it. How far is Hickory Hill Apartments, Memphis, to the University of Memphis?
According to apartments.com, see all available apartments for rent at $29.90. Hickory Hill RD in Memphis, Tennessee $29.90. Hickory Hill Road has rental units starting at $835.
That don't sound like the road. It says 20 minutes if this is the actual apartment. Because I believe the street started with an O. Graceland Drive. I don't think that's the same apartments. Winchester. Thank you all for joining me. Just doing a little research while I'm live. I think this street started with an O. It was O something. Interesting. They got this near Graceland. South Haven. Oh, mercy. I'm trying to look at the streets. Horn Lake. Whitehaven. I can't see any street names. Maybe when I go back in later, I'll do the circumference of the streets. Well, let's go here before I check out of here. Thank you all for your time. If indeed this isn't personal, he didn't know her. It has nothing to do with the law firm that her uncle works for, or the first victim that he assaulted, kidnapped back in 2000. Why did he go over to the University of Memphis to find a victim? Was he specifically looking for a certain type of victim? Did he fancy a white woman versus a black woman? Mexican? Brown sister? You have to ask those questions because you want us to believe he didn't like what? Black women? Gwendolyn sounds awfully black to me. Now, I'm not saying there aren't any white Gwens out there, but I got a funky feeling. Gwendolyn Brown is black as black. Stay woke, everybody. How many women has he been with? How many women has he assaulted, attempted to assault? How long has he been living with this Gwendolyn Brown? Is indeed there a dating situation with this woman whose address is on the documents? Her name is also on the registration for the vehicle. Is there only one vehicle they're using? Why was he using that vehicle? Does he use it all the time? Why would he take a vehicle back with blood in it? Didn't he think she would find and see stuff in the car that doesn't look right, smell right? Her DNA is in the damn car. Probably hair, all that. Did he take the car and vacuum it out, try to clean it up? Naturally, he wouldn't want to go to a car wash because they would see blood in there if indeed she bled out in the car. He wouldn't want anyone to know that. This was a fool. Do you hear me? A utter fool. But why University of Memphis? Why a white woman? We're going to go ahead and ask that. Because there's always a reason for the season. Let's say this is a 20-minute drive from his apartment. I'm going to assault someone out of my jurisdiction. Even if I get caught, I ain't going to do it over here while I sleep. And we've heard people going out of their area to assault others. Rob people, sexual assault. But they also say that rapists tend to navigate within their jurisdiction. And I don't think this is around the corner from the University of Memphis, Hickory Hill. So why did Cleotha, Pookie Abston choose the University of Memphis to prey on a white woman? There's a reason. There is always a reason. And we may never know because he may never tell the truth to what he did last Friday morning. He may never admit to hurting her, even though there's surveillance showing him put her in there until that SUV. He may never tell us what he did to her inside of the car. Did he take her somewhere else and assault her? He may never own up to any parts of the said crime, including murder. But I do believe he won't be getting out of there unless somebody can come up with $50,000 post the bond. And that will sure enough be something if he gets out of there on bond. Because he is definitely a threat to the community. And in the end, I don't understand why a judge would grant him the bond, considering he's kidnapped before, even though he was a child. But this time, he's possibly killed someone. So no matter the dollar amount, why even grant the bond, period? Because you don't know who he knows. And two people could put up two houses and make the bond, if indeed it's not cash only. This is a crazy story already. And now he's been brought up on additional charges. As of Monday, Labor Day, for theft, identity theft, and fraud, less than $1,000. You heard in commentary that I played in audio that he stole a woman's wallet. It's on the screen of this video by Fox, I believe. So who is the woman that the wallet belongs to? Is it Liza Fletcher, or he robbed somebody else before kidnapping her? And is that body found in South Memphis today that of Liza Fletcher? Lord have mercy. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, Everyday Shenanigans, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you all for your time. When I get more information and a confirmation of this person who was found today in Memphis, I will bring you the said information, and we will go from there. And we will also try to get information. I will try to bring information pertaining to the identity theft and fraud, and if indeed those theft and the debit card belong to Liza Fletcher. Because in my mind, I'm telling myself, there's no way she would have been out with a debit card. Why would you be out with a debit card when you, one, are not far from your house, allegedly? You have intentions to go back to your house after running. I don't see her wanting to buy anything or shop at that late time of morning and run with it back to her house. Unless she had some type of pouch and had the debit card inside and had it in her running top. We will see. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. Thank you for joining me. Please go to my community board for said information and various sources of breaking news and polls pertaining to this kidnapping and other subject matters. I will be back later with the latest update. Tomorrow, if indeed there is one, I will bring you content with a source. Prayers for the Fletcher family, her children especially, because there's nothing like having a mother to raise you, a good mother at that. And I feel bad for her children, family, because she seemed like a well-rounded person, a person in transition of trying to better herself. And how terrible is that to be in a world where you are actually trying to better yourself and be a better person, to only be snuffed out by a nothing-ass being who didn't care for living, didn't care to redeem himself. No empathy, no remorse. And the fact that he has not spoken tells you everything you need to know about Cleotha Pookie Abston. He's soulless. And I have a feeling he's been soulless a mighty long time. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.